If I want to figure out how to run, I'm a runner. If I want to tighten my stride or lengthen my stride on a run, I go and do a YouTube search and I try to look for someone who's a good runner. What do? Do they lengthen their stride? Do they heel strike and all of that? I go on and do a search, and then I have to kind of take that and then implement it myself. Imagine if software just did that for you. It watched what you do. And yes, in running is one thing, but I'm talking about as a salesperson or a marketer or a doctor or a nurse. Imagine if it just sort of says, hey, there are others in your profession who are doing it this way. Try it. So I'm Gordon Ritter. I'm a founder and general partner at Emergence Capital. The next frontiers of software have always been my passion in life. I've been in the tech industry since 1990 and have been at it for a long, long time. I'm a 3-time founding CEO of 3 different tech companies, sold all to public companies along the way. And I was at IBM running a large division, and a rather tall man named Mark Benioff, the founder of Salesforce.com, walked in the door looking for a launch partnership for his then young company called Salesforce. So the set of theses that Emergence is focused on and Vymo is executing on builds on a fundamentally new trend that workflow software used to be all that mattered. It was a software that you'd enter information into a field and be able to retrieve it later. It was fairly simple, sort of added 2 to 5% in the productivity that we could do as opposed to just using paper. The new world is the amount of data, both inputted data and behavioral data, is bringing a whole new level of software to the fore. And so if these theses are forcing IT shops and managers to really understand it's more about data and the ability to understand how others are executing well in their task and sharing that information across the software than it is about the old term of workflow software. And I think making that jump from it's not about workflow anymore, it's about really sharing best practices across a network, that is the massive change that is coming in our industry. And Vymo is leading that, helping to explain that to companies in both the insurance industry and financial services that need this value more than ever. Industry Cloud is cloud software that's tuned for the industries that they're serving. And why does that matter? Every industry has different regulatory reasons for how they run their business. They have different ways that they align their salespeople to territories versus accounts. Every industry is different. And if you try to use a generic software package for every industry, it's never going to fit. And so we've seen industry-focused cloud software companies adding much more value than the broad horizontal ones. In the cloud, you can minor in software because there's cloud software that will allow you to do almost anything much more easily than you could before, where you had to build every line of code. So you can be more domain experts and understand the needs of the customer and less having to do all the software builds yourself. 80% of workers now don't sit behind desks. 80% of workers always got sort of a second shrift of software. In the last few years, you've got companies that are creating software tuned for these workers, and mostly mobile-based. So they're taking advantage of these wonderful little devices that we now have that have the ability to see, let's say, your location and your accelerometer that allows you to see your motion, allows you to quickly take a note after you've met with a client. So all of that power that's in these little devices, you'd think a desktop would be better. In many cases, there's better software now being built for mobile workers than for desktop workers, simply because there is that ability to take advantage of all the sensor technology that's in a mobile device. So for coaching networks, the impact is, again, it's the next generation of software for buyers in large enterprises to start understanding. The impact is all of your workers and users in a large company are getting automatically upskilled without you having to do anything. The network will automatically upskill your users because there's some user or many users in your organization that are already doing something very smart and it's very powerful. The rest of let's say the 80 or 90% of other users just don't know they're doing it today. And so if the software can transfer the best habits of the best workers in an area to all the rest of your users, that is dynamic, perpetually growing software that is very exciting and very valuable for corporations of all sizes. What excited me and our whole team at Emergence about Vymo is it is on the cusp of really understanding every aspect of what Emergence believes is this next frontier of software. They have created a sales engagement platform with over 300,000 users across more than 65 insurance companies and financial service companies. They've created a very large network already that is using this software. It captures sales activities and customer interactions automatically. Sounds familiar? These are the things that start to look at the behaviors of reps in the field, as well as how the customers interact, and help sellers sort of plan their day at the most basic. It also analyzes the behaviors of best performers, exactly what Coaching Networks is all about. It's finding the outliers and understanding what they do, and then making sure that gets kind of delivered to others in nudges and interventions and other sort of event-driven architectures. And so they're already on the cusp of, they're doing that today and on the cusp of further advancement in that area. Their daily active usage of Vymo across their workers and users is over 85%. So again, average daily active users of all their users is 85%, with users spend an average of over 60 minutes a day on Vymo. That engagement is as high as a company like Slack in the B2B space and Instagram. Everyone will know Instagram. Those are two of the most high engagement software applications in either the business side or the consumer side. And Vymo is above that of those systems. So unbelievable kind of engagement. And it's that engagement that can then understand the habits and strategies. And again, the loop gets better and better. And the top line impact that we're seeing with Vymo's many 65 plus large enterprise customers is basic metrics like customer coverage, share of wallet, lead conversion, and sales productivity. All are advancing beyond any standard workflow software package that they could buy that would be more generic. So if you're running a large enterprise company or medium size or smaller, you're really confronted with a conundrum right now. Do I do what's happened in the past, which is try to find the horizontal winner, the company that creates generic horizontal software in whatever area, from HR, accounting, sales and marketing, whatever you're looking for? Do I take the horizontal software and then try to customize it to work for my industry, and therefore bring in consultants and others to kind of change the horizontal software and try to verticalize it? Or in this new world, do I look for companies that have dedicated their futures to making your business, your enterprise, better because they understand your industry? They're kind of majoring in your industry and your needs and creating great software as well. But it's easier to do that than it was, again, 5 or 10 years ago. So if I were running an IT shop, I would be trying to say to myself, do I do what I've been doing in the past, or do I find those special companies that really understand my industry and get all that value of their understanding, other companies in my industry's understanding of how should I help my workers be more productive, and how do I ultimately help my customers to do their job better? My vote would be that you really focus on industry-focused companies that are dedicated and understand your domain.